What's up, guys? So in today's video we are going to be building this social links card, and again, from the title, we are building it from Frontend Mentor. And in case if you don't know what Frontend Mentor is a platform to test your or improve your front-end skills. So if you want to challenge yourself, you can just go to frontendmentor.io and do some of the challenges there. Like we did this one for our last video. You should check that out. That should be on the card or at the end card. Yeah, so this is what we're going to build, and I didn't want to, like, if we come back, it's just for HTML and CSS, and this is something I like doing, and I advise people to do, is that don't just do the design as it is. Like, most times, except if you're working on a project, yeah, you have to do it yourself. But if you're trying to improve your skills, just try to take it up a level. So for this design, we did the front end part, which is this. Then if we click on GitHub, we'll have this, like, a card details of, like, a description of the person, a link to check their GitHub and so on. If we go to Frontend Mentor, the same thing. LinkedIn, the same thing. So yeah, that's what we're going to be building. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, let's dive right into coding. Alright guys, so I already have VS Code open, and I've already created a Vite application that is up and running already at this port 5173. But if you don't know how to set up a Vite application, you just simply need to open your terminal and just run npm create vite at latest. Then you put the path you want, or if it's the default path, you can just put a period. Then just follow some level of instructions, which they are quite easy. And also make sure you have Node.js installed, and you should be using version 18 and upwards for it to work. Yeah, so I didn't want to just create everything from scratch again. And what else? Yeah, I've gotten rid of the CSS, and for the index file, I just renamed this as social links, and I imported or linked Fort Awesome icons, because we're going to be using the icon. Again, this is from the CDN, so you can just go to Fort Awesome, can spell awesome CDN, yeah. So it should be this first one. You just grab this one from here, link tag, or you can copy the URL by copy the link tag. And lastly, let me bring this to the side. Give me a minute. Come here. And lastly, I also have, because we are going to be using Framer Motion for the animation you saw earlier on, so I also have it installed. So if you want to install this, you can just run npm I Framer Motion. So that shows a command for it. Alright, cool. And I know we've not started writing code. I just wanted to state some things. I also have the images we are going to be using, which everything is going to be on the GitHub repo that will be in the description. So I already brought those in, and I will be referencing this my notes to get some of the code we might need. So I don't want to bore you guys from typing everything from scratch, because it's really boring. All right, let's open Figma, and let's see what we are going to be building. Okay, so this and this are quite the same, so let's just leave it. Well, let's just work with this one instead. You can see we have everything stacked in a horizontal form. I have my pen, so I think it's Ctrl Shift P. Okay, it's just Shift P. Alright, so you can see everything are just stacked horizontally. Let me change this color to something better. Alright, so everything are stacked horizontally. So all we have to do is to go back to our app file, and let's first of all import this image. And this can be anything. You can use your own image if you choose to, but we're just going to use the image that's given to us. So we import the image, import, let's just call it profile image from, I think it's from assets here. The name is avatar. I think it's Jessica, if I could recall it. Okay, Jessica.jpg. Alright, so let's just create a container to hold everything. Give this div and just give this a class of container. Inside the container class, it's more like a panel class to hold everything, like this entire stuff right here. So we're going to create this a class or a div for this, and I think we'll call it profile container. That's a better name for it. So we just call this profile container. Inside the profile container, we'll bring in an image first, and this source will just get rid of the quote and bring in the profile image. So by the time we save it, we should see the image right here. Next, we need to get this text right here, which is more like an info. And I just observed that if I bring out these pen tools, this section, this would be a div, and this is different, so I'm going to separate it, and this is different. So if you're building, just try to, like I always say, just try to break down the stuff of what you're doing before you start writing it. Alright, so we already know what we're doing now, so let's start writing the code for it. So create another div called profile, let's just call it profile info, and inside they'll have an h1 called Jessica, and let's just give this a span. I think it's United Kingdom. Is it just United Kingdom? Typing this from the top of my head. London, United Kingdom. Okay, so now outside this, like I said, I'm breaking it into different parts. You can choose to put everything inside one place, but I just like doing things like that. So give this class of text, and the text was front-end developer and avid reader. So front-end developer and avid reader. Alright, so that's coming in. So what we want to do now is to bring in these buttons, but we are not just going to bring it directly like that just to save time. I don't want to just write buttons, create a class of buttons, for example, now, and start creating a button for GitHub. If I can spell GitHub correctly, So if I save, this will work, but we also need to, like, when we click on this button, we need to open um the details section of this user. So, and you can do that by storing all the details inside an array of objects. So let's just do that. Let's just bring that in, get rid of this, and already have that code saved. Like I said, I didn't want to bother and start typing everything from scratch. So here's it. Just copy this. Let's just cut it out. We don't need it anymore. Paste it outside. You can still put inside this code inside the app. Inside this app function, it's still going to work, but let's just leave it outside. So what do we have now? We have an ID. The name will be the name in this button, which is GitHub, Frontend Mentor, LinkedIn, and so on. This logo will quickly. I didn't write the logo, but we'll just quickly bring them in. And another thing we have again is the path. And if you recall correctly, so if you want to check out the more information about the user, you just click it, and all this stuff will be inside the details page. Let's quickly bring in this logo, or these logos rather. The first one is GitHub. So GitHub from assets. I don't know what I call this. I think it's GitHub PNG. The next, I just copy this like 5 times, and if you don't know how to do that, just hold Shift Alt and down. So the next is Frontend Mentor, and I think I called it Mentor PNG. The next will be LinkedIn, which is obviously linked in. Is this a capital letter? I don't know. I think so. LinkedIn PNG. The next is Twitter, then Instagram. So Twitter, and the last one is Instagram. Instagram is a WebP image, not a PNG image. So we just need to still update it from here. So here should be Instagram. There should be Twitter. There should be LinkedIn. And this should be what? I think, is it Frontend Mentor? Okay. Yeah. This should be GitHub, capital letter H. Okay, so let's save this. Nothing is coming in. So let's bring it in. So inside this profile container, not outside, inside this profile container, we'll just create a new div called buttons. And inside there, we just need to like map over the buttons. So say social media, links, and this can be whatever you want to name it. So you grab the link and just open a parenthesis, and let's create a button. This should be the link, the name, and this should give this a key of link to ID, so that React can be able to track the children. So as you can see right now, we have brought them in, and the cool thing about it is that if you want another button, you just simply need to just duplicate this and just write it. So that's really cool. So this is what we have so far, which is everything here. Let's just start styling the code. Let's open our index file, first of all, get rid of the default margin and padding. Also set the box size into border box. I'm still recording. All right, yeah. So next is I want to do two things. I want to bring in the font. I think the font they used was Intel font, and I also need to bring in the color scheme, which I have stored right here. I don't need this for now. Yeah, so cut this and bring it here. So save. Also should take effect now. So all we need to do is just set this image to have a max width of 100% and display block. Oh yeah, so just display block. Let's comment it out so you see what happened. Got rid of this space under it. So what we need to do now is to bring in the font. So we can do that inside this body, and say font family should be Inter, or the fallback font should be sans serif. That's coming in. Next is to set the background. So the background of the body was this dark background right here. So let's just say background should be, called it of black, yeah. And let's set the color to white. All right. So we also need to center everything in the screen. So and one, you can do that using flex box or grid. I like doing I like centering my stuff using grid most times. So we'll say display grid, and let's say the height to 100 viewport height to take the entirety of the viewport. And we also need to place items center, so everything is coming nice and dandy. So by the time we open this, it should be at the center. So let's style the profile container. So for that, we just need to say the profile container should have a background color of this light gray. I think I called it dark gray, but yeah, it is what it is. It's supposed to be a light gray. Let's just quickly, let me change that. Light gray. Light gray. Alright. And we should center everything inside, because right now everything is at the left. So if we say text align, center, yeah, that's centering it, but don't worry about the image. You're going to center it in a bit. Also need the padding around it. Let's just say padding of 2 rem, yeah, and the border radius like 1 rem. So this is essentially what we're styling for now, this gray, light gray background. So now let's style the image itself. So we say profile container, the image, we'll give it a width of 100 pixels to bring it down, a height of 100 pixels. I don't know if there's a shorthand property for this, like a one-liner stuff. If you know, just leave it in the comments. I really appreciate that, because I think for tail it is called size. So if you set the size, it automatically gets the height and weight of that tag or that element. So give us a border radius of 50%. Object field should be cover, and we need to center it. So we say margin inline, which is for the left and right, should be auto, so it's coming right in. And let's just add the margin bottom of 1.5 rem. All right, so let's style this profile info, which is this h1 and span. So for the profile info itself, the profile info, let's just bring in, okay, let's use it like this. Then profile info, let's just give this a margin bottom of 1.5 rem to push it down from this text right here, so we get like the same feel for it. So 1.5, 1.5. All right, cool. So let's target the h1, and I think we need to bring down the font size of the h1 here. So say profile container, the profile info h1 should have a font size of like 1.2. Let me just bump this up to 1.5. All right, this is better. Yeah. Also need to add a margin bottom of 0.5 rem. All right, cool. So let's grab the span, which is this right here. So we'll say profile container, profile info, then span, and it has that green color. Just, I think I called it green, yeah. So this is coming in real nice, and we still need to add a margin bottom of 1.5 for this. So instead of separating all this, let's just bring it together. So I can say the profile container, like here now, can just say for the first, let me say something. Okay, we can say profile image, and lastly like profile container, profile info, then a p tag should have all the span rather. But for this to kick in, I know why it's not kicking. Let me try something. Display line block. Alright, so I don't know why that is not working. Let's see. Fine for each one. Let me just get rid of this for now. Okay, this is still working fine. I don't know why it's not working for this span element. Let me try adding it directly from here. So this should be displayed in inline block. So I'm having a weird error. Okay, this should be a class called text, not span. What am I doing? This is span, this is text. Okay. This is green, yeah, so this should be profile info.text. I think this is what, and this is not inside the profile info, so this is what happens when you are doing everything from top of your head. Alright guys, so it's working fine. I think if I get rid of this, it should still work fine, yeah, because inline, these span elements are displayed inline by default. So if you want to add a like margin bottom to it, you need to set it to a display of a line block, which was the mistake I did. Now we can just come back right here and just say here should be the profile container, then the text. So if we save this one, we no longer need this one, and everything should work fine. Yeah, okay, cool. So now we need to style the buttons. So like I said, the buttons to stack horizontally. So let's just say buttons, display of flex, align items should be center, justify content should be center as well. Then we need to like change the flex direction to column because it's 0 by default. We say flex direction should be column, and the width should be 100% to span everything. But the width won't kick in now. We need to just inherit the width from the actual button itself. So if you get the button now, you can set the width to not stroke width so 100% to span all through. Then give this a background color of gray, I believe. Yeah, font family should also be inherited. Yeah, that's coming in. Color should be white. Yup. Then we need to get rid of the default border. So we set the border excuse me, border to none. Yeah. What we need to do is to like add padding to it. So for the top and bottom, which is padding block, give this let's say 7.7 rem. I believe that should work. So let's just quickly add a margin underneath. So what we'll do is that we'll add a margin underneath except for this last one because we don't want to have an extra margin to deal with. So we can do that by saying, we'll come back to this in a minute. And do that by saying the button and not the last child. Let's just give this a border, a margin bottom of 1 rem. Alright, so this is what we need. Well, did I give this? Let's just give this a class instead. Let's call it button. Just add a period at the front and the same thing here. So nothing should change. I just added the class of button to the actual button element. So now that we have that working, we also need to add the border radius of like 0.7 rem. 7 rem worked. Yeah. I think let's bump up the font size to like 1 rem. Let's see. Let's bring it down to 0.9 rem. Alright, cool. And should have the cursor should be pointer, not arrow. Yeah. This is what we need. And let's also, I think this is bold. Let's also add the font weight of like 700. Yeah. Cool. And let's also add the transition, which is this hover effect right here. So we say transition. Let's just say, oh, can make it specific, but I'm too lazy to do that. So all is, so when we hover over the button right now, on hover, the background color should be what? Green, and the text should be, I'm saying text, the color itself should be black or black. So when I hover over it, so this is just like it's working on desktop too. So this is the main, like the main stuff Frontend Mentor told us to do. So if you did this and you want to stop the video, that's fine. But if you want to take it a step further, like I did, let's just start creating the details page for each of these buttons right here. So we need to head over to our app directory, and what we want to do is that when we click on this button, we should have another card like this exact card pop up showing the details about the user based on what is clicked here. And we're not hiding this one. You can hide it if you want to, but I'm not hiding. I'm just putting it on top of it. Okay, so how do we do that? First of all, we need to create a function or a state to handle the selected link. So the link that I selected, we need a state to handle it. So what we'll do now is to come in right inside here and create the state called, what should we call it? Let's just say selected link, and set is selected link. It should be what use state. Let's set it to an empty string for now. So like I said, we need to like bring in the details of the button or click. So let's create a function to just handle the selected link. So we can do that by saying creating a variable called, or a function called handle selected link. Again, this can be whatever you want. And since we are going to be clicking on it, we need to pass in that selected link right here and set this selected link to be whatever link that has been selected. So I don't know if that makes sense. So for instance, if I select this GitHub, it should be passed, because this is what we're going to be calling when we click on this button. Then as soon as we click on this, it should be updated and stored in this set is selected link function. So let's just do that real quick. So we'll come to this button. Let's just do that right at the end of this. Say on click. This is an event, so we need this when the users click on it, not when the page loads, because if you just call the handle selected link, it's going to happen when the page loads. So I need to evoke it and say handle selected link should be whatever link that has been clicked. So let's try and console.log out the selected link to see if it's working fine. So by the time we click on, you can see, yeah, I'm having an empty string. And if you don't know what this is like an extension called console. I think it's console ninja. Let's check console ninja. Yeah, this is right. This is it right here. So it just save you the stress of opening your dev tool, because if we open our dev tool, we'll still have this from why you misbehaving. Yeah, so it's still the same empty string we'll be getting, which is this right here. But this is a little more obvious because it's saying empty string right here. We're not even getting any text at all. So you can still choose to use your dev tools, that's fine, but I'll be working with this. So this is an empty string. So by the time we click on this GitHub, you can see that we have all the details for the first one we clicked, which is the ID, the GitHub, the name, the logo, and so on and so forth. So now we need to like create. Now we've done this part, we need to like show the selected link once this link is clicked in a new should I call it in a new container. So let's just say, let's create another state called is selected, what should I say, selected link. Let's just leave it as selected, bad and name it things obviously. Set is selected, and this should be a boolean. It should be false by default. So we want to check if it's selected. So we're not working with this profile container for now. Let's just say, what should we call this one? Profile info details. So let's check if it's selected. So if it's selected, let's just bring in, what am I doing? Let's bring in the name of the selected link. You can bring out everything, but I just want to bring out the name of that selected link. The name. Let's save this and see. And this is not going to work yet because we also need to check if that link is selected. So by the time we click on this button, we also need to check if is a selected link. So if that link is selected, so if GitHub is selected, for example, we need to set is selected to be whatever set sorry, we need to set is selected link to whatever, or here should be set is selected rather, to negate this is selected. So in a nutshell, we're trying to say once we click on any of this link, just negate this boolean right here. So if we click on GitHub, we should get GitHub. If we click on Frontend Mentor, we should get Frontend Mentor, and so on and so forth. All right, so what we need to do right now is to just create the GSX for it. So inside the ledgers, okay, yeah, this is working fine. So let's just create GXS for it, and this should be, let's just give it a class of profile details. That should be a nice name for it. Profile details, and like I said, let me just create this right here before I explain. So create another class called close and bring in a photo some icon, which should be I think I put this name on top of my head. Let me see if I still remember it. Should be FA solid FA X mark. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't work, I have to check it up. Yeah, so by the time we click on this, okay, it's working now. We need to like go back to this card. So we need a close icon just to handle the going back, and just to handle like going back to the previous card. Yeah, so that's just the whole thing, and thank God this works. So we also need to have an overlay, CY in a bit, and we need to bring out the details of, need to just bring out these details right here for each link. So we'll say that by say selected info, and inside the image should still be for the individual link. So for this GitHub, it should be whatever the link is. So selected link dot logo. This text should be, you can set it right here, but I believe, I wrote this down on my notes. Let me check what I wrote right here. So I said a front-end developer, I build seamless web experiences. I might not type everything because it's looking quite long. And web applications by transforming Figma and Adobe XD designs into real and should be real and usable website and app. All right, so you can see that everything is coming right in. This is what we need. And lastly, or should I say lastly, also need more details. So you can say this should be, we need like a link to check out the bio, which was this link we created right here, or this path. So you can say this should be like a CTA and say bring in this href. This should be whatever the selected link dot path, and this should be check out my bio. Next should be a tag. Like if you observe from the intro, there was a tag for each link. So the tag, you can just call this tag, and that tag is just simply the name again. So selected link dot name. And lastly, let's just add an author. I think I had an author, and that was used my name. So Dale Florence. I can't spell my own name. Alright, cool. So we should have everything coming right in, as you can see. So let's quickly style it. So go back to our index file and please just comment this out and say profile details. Inside there we'll say profile details. So we need to set this background color. As you can see, we need to put it on top of this entire stuff right here. So say background color should be this dark gray or light gray, because we need it to be the same as this one. Position should be what? Absolute, because we need to place it on top. Yeah. So the width should be 100% as usual. Percent, yeah. And the left wall should be 0. Top should be 0. Yeah. And I believe we'll see that in a minute. Something weird is happening. So let's just set the height to 100% of the viewport and the border radius. Let's just do all this down. You may not see it quite a bit, but let's shrink down this image first of all. I think I called it selected info image. Yeah, that's what I called it. Selected info image. So go back, or rather still, since this entire stuff is under this container, and I believe this absolute positioning is relative to the body. Let's see if this work like this. Position relative, yeah, and this is what we need. So we don't need to shrink this for now, I believe. So what is happening right now is that when we set this to position absolute, it was relative to the body itself. That's why we're getting this weird stuff right now, but we needed it to be relative to this container itself. Alright, so and for this image, let's quickly go back to top of this, and this profile image, and what was the class again? Profile details. So say profile details image, profile details image. It should both be the same, yeah. So that worked for it. So we added the border of 1 rem, the same thing like the previous one. And what we need to do right now, just set a padding inline. So we'll have some space inline, padding inline of like 1 rem. Okay, that worked. Yes, also add the padding top for now of 5 rem. I also make some changes to this later on. So for the close for this icon right here is X icon. Let's just quickly style that. Say profile details, give it a class of close. Just give it a background color of this of black. Should be display inline block. The width should be what, 40 pixels. The height should be what, 40 pixels, which is this entire stuff right now. We need to center it. Like I said, I like using display grid, so just display grid and place items. Center should work perfectly. Yeah, so we need to bump up the size of it, so we need to give it a size of like let's see, 1 rem. This is 1 rem by default. Let's see, 1.0. All right, so I need to add the border radius of like 50% to make it round, and also add the cursor pointer. Yeah, this is what we want. Okay, next we need to add the overlay. So like I said, the overlay is like overlay, if you can spell. So we need to have the overlay on top, so that when we bring in the linear gradient for each of these, what should I call this right now? Each for each link, the color shouldn't just be overshadowing this text right here. So we need an overlay to just create that balance. So the overlay should be position of absolute. Top should be 0. You will not see it for now. Left should be 0. The width should be 100%. Height 100%. And again, position of absolute means it's going to take the height and width of its parent container. So the background color, I'm going to use an RGBA. Red should be 0. Green should be 0. Blue should be 0. You just set this alpha to 0.2 for now. We might change it later on. So you can see that that is coming right in. So now we can't like we can't highlight the text no longer. So we need to push this at the back. So we need to give it z index of 1. So it's still there, but we can this time highlight our text. So now let's grab this selected info itself, which is this entire stuff, and say selected info, and set this to center everything. I don't know why that is not working. Yeah, so this should be selected info. I thought it was selected info. Yeah, okay, it's working nice. Let's add the padding top or a margin top, this time of like 2 rem. Yeah, so let's bump up the font size of this text right here, this p tag. I say selected info p tag, font size of 1 rem. Okay, the default is 1 rem. Yeah, okay. Now we need to, like, this is the tag, and remember the tag was over here. So as usual, you might guess what we want to do right now. And if you guess position absolute, you're right. So we need to grab the tag and give it a position of absolute. Top should be 0 for now. Well, let's just give it 1 rem. And the right should be 1 rem too. And also add the background color of gray. Padding should be 0.7 up top and bottom, and 1 rem left and right. And lastly, we'll add the border radius of 1 rem. Okay, that's working fine and dandy. Now we need to start the CTA. Yeah, so selected info CTA, and the A tag inside. We just need to get rid of this text decoration, this line under, which is text decoration of none, and also display it to inline block because it's inline by default if I'm not wrong. And let's just give this a background color of gray, and the color should be white. So we need to we can add a margin top, or we can add a margin top, so but we need to do that from this class, not the A tag itself. So let's just say margin top should be 2 rem. Alright, so coming back to this, we have to set the padding. Yes, padding padding should be 0.7 rem. Alright, but we need it to spread across like we saw in the intro. Let's see, the width should be 100%. Yeah, okay, it works. So then we only need the padding for the top and bottom. Yeah, let's add a border radius of 1 rem. 57 rem. Okay, I can leave the font size as it is, and the font width we should bump it up to like, yeah. And we also need that transition state. So we say transition to 0.2 seconds. 0.2 seconds is, and grab the hover state like we did for this. Let's just copy this right here and paste it, but this time we just change this to selected info CTA, then the A tag, so we get this effect right here. And lastly, for this auto, we need to put it down right here. So the same position absolute, I just say position absolute. Yeah, so the bottom this time should be 1 rem, and we need it center. So we set the left to 50%, but for it to center, we need to set the transform translate x and set it to negative of this left so that you can push it at the center. Yeah, and let's also bump up the font weight to like 500 this time. I can make it 700. Let's make it 600. Or you leave it at 500. All right, cool. So we're almost done. Now we need to add the close functionality to this, and that is quite easy. So let's go back to our app file and just say handle close. Or we can just say close link just to make everything shorter. and this we just simply set is selected to false, because right now it's true. So when we click on this, it should be false, and this should happen when we click on the close link. So close link on click should be close link right now. All right, so when we close this right now, it should pop up. Right, when we click on this, it should open. We're not getting that animation part right now, which we're going to add in a couple of minutes with frame and motion. Well, as you can see for Twitter, this is coming right in, this is coming right in. So now we need to add that background or linear gradient color for each of these links. So for LinkedIn, we need this to have that LinkedIn background linear gradient color, front end, and so on. So we need to go back to our index file, and again, I already have that right here. So let me just bring that in. So under this, we'll just paste it right here. But this shouldn't work right now, but this is what we need. So we need to go back to our app file, and we need to do that whenever we click on this. So we need to check, and if we start checking for, okay, if the selected link, the name is GitHub, then show this GitHub class for Frontend Mentor. If we start doing everything in this tag right here, or this div right here, the code will be a bit messy. So I just try to like create a variable called selected class name, and this should check the selected link dot name. So if is equals to GitHub, then show that GitHub class. Else if the selected link dot name is equals to Frontend Mentor Frontend Mentor, then show that Frontend Mentor class. So guys, what's going to happen is that I don't want to I don't want you to see me typing all this, so I'll be right back when I'm done typing everything. Alright guys, so I'm done bringing all this in. You can see that it's a bit messy, but I'm very sure there's another way. Let's just see though. Very sure there's another way of doing this, but let's bring that right in. So we need that to happen whenever we click on the link. So right here, we need to get rid of this string and use a temporary literal, because we're going to be writing JXX, or we're going to be using JavaScript inside. So we need to now bring in the selected class name. So hopefully when we click on something like Instagram now, yeah, you can see it's coming really nice and cool. But I'm actually, when I was doing this, I actually thought of an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, so let's just see. So what I want to do, let me just say write it out. So like create a map for it that has like a key value pairs kind of stuff. So this will actually be the key, and this will be the class name. Rather, this whole stuff right here will be the key, while this will be the value. Let me just try and see if it's going to work. Fingers crossed though. So we'll call this, let's call it selected class map. I don't know if this is the right stuff for it. So this will be an object, and the key should be for this first one now, GitHub. would not bring in the value. The value would be this class name. So for Frontend Mentor, Frontend Mentor will be this mentor class. Expected position. I think this should be in a string since because of this space right here. All right, but it's still the same thing like this right here. So actually using this name and this stuff right here. So you guess the next one should be for LinkedIn. So we see LinkedIn. This class should be LinkedIn. Next one should be Twitter. And the last one should be Instagram. Yeah. So what we want to do now is to check. So we'll get rid of everything right here and see this selected class name should be this selected class map, and open a bracket right here and say selected link dot name, right? Or it should be empty. So what we're doing is to like check if this name right here, this selected link itself, this selected link dot name, which is this Twitter, matches the name in this key in this class map. So if it matches it, you should bring out this class right here. So hopefully it should work. I'm very sure it's going to work. Yeah, so it's working. Yeah, and this code looks more cleaner. So if you want to add another class name, so you can just bring in the background color and just pass in the name instead of writing that if check. All right, cool. Now that we have that in place, let's just bring in frame and motion. So like I said, I already have frame and motion installed, and the first things first, we need to I can't see the demo again because I already gotten rid of it, but I believe that each of them came like they were scaling in at different durations, and they were delayed for some. So for the first one, which is this, I believe the first one was the entire profile. Yeah, so for us to be able to use frame motion, first of all, we need to import it. So let's just import motion from frame motion. So as a quite a huge package. So this is what we're going to be using. And for us to be able to use frame motion, we need to just add motion before the these elements, so that you know that the animation is for this specific element. So for this right here, we just need to open, always bring this down, and below the class name, so we'll have like more like a transition or animation for CSS, like for using when if you are using keyframes, you have something like to, from, or using percentage. For frame motion is more like the starting point is the initial, which we are going to set to, and it's two curly braces, so set it to a scale of 0.5. so it should scale 0.5 initially, then it should animate in at let's set the scale to like 1, get rid of this. Okay, so it should scale it, the initial should be 0.5, then it should animate at 1, then you should leave the exit should be, you can set this back to this scale of 0.5 or 0. I'm just going to leave it at 0. And the duration, you can bring the duration by setting this transition property, and you can see there are different types here. Spring, there's one they call twin, but you just need to check it up. So you can go to framer, think it's framer, not framer template, framer motion. All right, I don't seem to get the okay. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, so just go through their docs and just see how things work, because I can't start explaining everything from scratch. All right, so let's add a duration of um like 0.3 seconds, so 0.3. So by the time we save this and we'll click on this, you can see that the entire stuff now, which is entire container, came in from 0.05 to 1. All right, so cool. So the next thing to do is that once this entire stuff comes right in, we need to bring in this image right here. So this image should see scale in, and it's quite similar to what we did here. So we need to go to this image and just bring this down to, and before that we need to add the motion dot if, and bring this down, and let's just say the initial, seems we are going to just be copying some stuff over. Let's just copy this out, paste it right here. So the initial for this now will be 0, while the issue scaling at 1. But you can also add, like I said, you can also add a transition on how you want. There are different properties to add, but this is what we need. So we need a type called twin. I think that's what it's called, twin. And let's also add a delay so that when the this entire profile details load, it should delay to 0.3 seconds before coming right in. And for the exit, we also need to leave it at 0. For the transition, can do it, leave it at 3 seconds, but you can bring it down if you want to. So let's just save it and test it out so you can see that it's working as expected. So if we click on this, yeah, so we need to still do the same for the p tag, and I guess for this too. So we just need to copy this over. For the p tag, as usual, always remember to add motion before it and bring this down, paste this right in. I'm going to leave everything at the same. The only thing I'm going to add is the delay, because we need everything to come in a sequential order. So open this, boom boom, yeah, this is what we need. And like I said, you can increase the duration or reduce it if you want to. I think for this we also need to add the same thing to it. Copy this for this check, what do I call it, for this div right here, which is check out my bio. So bring this right here and say motion dot div, paste it right in, and let's increase it to like 0.9. Let's see if, okay, let's see, boom boom boom, yeah, okay, so that worked. But one last thing we need to do is that, as you can see, once we click on this, it's just like, it's just going back the way it came in. We need to like scale down back when we close the details from, and we can do that using another component in motion called an animate presence. Yeah, not presence props, just presence. Yeah, so what this do is that, like, the entire stuff in a nutshell, what it does is like it mimics the flow of entering, and when we click on this, it should animate the presence of this back down. I don't know if that makes sense. So let's just quickly see that in action. So we need to wrap it around this entire stuff. So we say animate present and paste this right here. So let's open this. By the time we click on this, when we scale it down, you see the way it's scaled down. Yeah, so this is all we need. All right guys, so that's the end of the video, and I believe if you enjoyed this video, you should enjoy this video where we created this news later, and like I said, we took it a step further by adding a Mailchimp integration to it. So if you do enjoy this video, you should also find this video at this end card helpful.